So this is the Sage Hill Inn.
Hey, classmates. This is the group of Wilmore, Conrad Thomas, and Thomas Wisecarver. We're doing the Sage Hill Inn case. Next slide.
So for our executive summary, we kind of identified some of the problems that Sage Hill was experiencing at the time. So Sage Hill offers a stay in a simple lodge designed to resemble a Texas homestead in the 1800s. And sort of their goal was to achieve a modern yet rustic feel to draw customers in. And we kind of believe this is a unique strategy for them. The key issue with Sage Hill in dealing with this at the time of the case study is there's a bit of a misalignment between their customers' expectations and the reality of when they get to the actual inn. So to correct this problem, we proposed a few different measures. And first, a single strategy needs to be decided upon and followed. A service quality also needs to be maintained and possibly improved throughout the whole customer experience while staying at the inn. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the presentation, but improved feedback measures need to be established as well because the current feedback measures they have are not, they don't capture all of the customers' concerns. And so we also have analysis of what these customers are expecting. And so, as we said, they have problems matching customer expectations to reality. And as you can see in this photo, this is their fireside that they like to promote on the website, where all of their guests can meet up and talk about um, their day and how their stay is going, and just kind of get that rustic feel. And they promise a rustic Texas country experience. It's really how they promote their place as different. And so some of the promises they make are hiking trails through the woods, 1800 style log cabins, the fireside chats, as you previously saw, and a lot of old timey decor. And so it's very contrasted with the actual reality when these customers show up for their stay. And the reality is really updated cabins with modern accommodations such as flat screens, furnishings that are modern, and it's not what they're expecting at all. So if you see on their website, a lot of the new offerings are they have a spa, an updated modern spa, a swimming pool, above ground swimming pool, modern decor, and paved running trails. And it's a pretty stark contrast between what they're talking about on their website and what customers actually find when they get there. And so you can see from this customer review, venting a little bit of those frustrations. So they said, "This used to be my favorite place. It's an old rustic charm that has vanished with new modern furniture." And they even end by saying, "Every place is going to treat you well, but Sage Hill doesn't really leave. Like if I wanted something modern, I didn't even have to leave home, or I could stay in a cheap hotel." And so some of these customers have expressed a little bit of a problem with this image crisis, and many other customers who've had a problem with these accommodations will never voice their concerns.
So another thing that we analyzed in the case was about customer service. We think that they can improve customer experience through identifying and improving the potential service failure points. And these failure points can happen at any time a customer interacts with a member of the staff, whether it be through a slow checkout, through the customer carrying their own luggage to their rooms, through food coming out cold from the kitchen, or incomplete or incorrect fulfillment of guest questions and special requests. Sage-Hill Inn usually does all these things right. However, things can always go wrong. And we didn't see anything in the case or from our own, research and study that showed that they had somebody consistently monitoring the quality, and so therefore could be subject to fluctuations and possibly dipping below a normal consistent quality that they offer. Next, Conrad. And another thing is, as Will mentioned earlier, was the feedback. So Sage Hill Inn, they collect feedback in kind of two ways. First is through an in-person feedback through the innkeeper staff. They kind of ask the customer when they leave, when they're checking out, how their stay was. Now, this is a nice in-person way to get feedback. However, it's likely that the customer is going to say, oh, the stay was fine, just out of politeness, not wanting to make waves. So it's probably not the best way to get actual concrete feedback that could be constructive and instructive. Sage Hill then collects more feedback after checkout when they send an email to the customer thanking the customer for staying with them, and they ask them to leave a review on Google Reviews, bedandbreakfast.com, or TripAdvisor. And as Will just said, half the people who have a problem won't leave a review at all. So Sage Hill is kind of missing out on these, half of this bad experiences that they need to know about so they can possibly fix what caused the bad problem to begin with.
And so we have a couple of recommendations that we've already hit on before. The first and most important, we believe, is that they need to clarify a single strategy or a direction to pursue for this in. Right now, it's split between two things: a modern idea or an old 1800s homestead, and that doesn't really work. They need to decide on one and pursue that. And once they integrate this strategy, they need to market themselves around it. That being like the website. They need to put on the website what they need to do. How they're changing this and update it to what the actual changes have had as taken place. This would clear up the expectations of these customers, and they know exactly what they're getting. And also another thing we'd do is we'd hire a service quality manager. Their sole purpose would be to ensure a great customer experience. That being, when we do decide to improve our measures of getting more feedback, they'd be the people reading and responding to these guest reviews, their recommendations. They'd also have the ear of upper management telling us what kind of improvements we need in order to create a better customer experience. That being said, we do need a new method of getting feedback, whether that be providing a discount or a free massage, something like that, that would really make these people want to come in and provide this feedback. The order in which we do it is, first, you have to develop a clear strategy. The whole business revolves around this strategy. Then we'd also remarket Sage Hill into that strategy, remodeling the website, clear, unified message. The customers know what they're getting. Those would both really affect the expectations of these customers. Hiring the service quality manager, which is the third thing, would be to manage the perception. That way we can really align the two. Anything these customers need, that would go through the service quality manager. And lastly, the last thing we'd implement would be a method of consistently collecting feedback. That way we can really identify shortcomings, we can identify where we did well, and then really work on making those things better. Thank you.